Let me tell you something that almost nobody wants to say out loud. Mixing money and family is one of the most dangerous things you can do. Not because your family is bad, not because you don't love them, but because money has a way of exposing things that were already broken underneath the surface. Things that were hiding behind Sunday dinners and birthday hugs and the comfortable idea that family means unconditional support. And when money enters the picture, all of that changes. Today we're going to talk about the truth that nobody tells you. The real reason why lending money to a cousin ends friendships. Why going into business with a sibling destroys the relationship. Why co-signing a loan for a parent can leave you financially ruined and emotionally devastated at the same time. This is not a warning, this is an explanation. Because once you understand why this happens, you can actually do something about it. Let's start from the beginning. Money is not just money. This is the first thing most people get wrong. They think of money as a neutral tool. Just numbers, just paper, just a transaction. But money is loaded with meaning. It represents security, power, sacrifice, value, worth. And inside a family, it carries something even more complicated than all of that. It carries expectation. When you lend money to a family member, you're not just lending money. You're entering into an emotional agreement that was never clearly written down. An agreement about loyalty, about gratitude, about what family is supposed to mean. And those invisible agreements are the ones that blow everything up. The person who borrowed the money feels pressure, guilt, maybe even resentment because now every time they see you, they're reminded of what they owe. And instead of feeling grateful, they start avoiding you, pulling away, going quiet. And you, the one who lent the money, start feeling something too. You start noticing things. You see them spending money on things that seem unnecessary. A new phone, a night out, a vacation, and you start doing the math in your head. That could have been my repayment. That money was mine. And slowly, quietly, the relationship starts to rot, not because of the money, but because the money made the invisible things visible. The second reason this always gets complicated is something called the shifting of roles. Inside a family, everyone has a role: parent, child, older sibling. Younger sibling, these roles carry emotional weight. They shape how we speak to each other, how we ask for things, how much we respect each other's boundaries. Money completely scrambles all of that. The moment you lend money to a parent, you become, in some emotional sense, the authority figure. And for a parent, that is almost impossible to accept with grace. It creates a subtle but very real power imbalance that neither side knows how to navigate. The same thing happens between siblings. The sibling who lends money often starts to feel like they have the right to weigh in on decisions, on spending, on lifestyle choices because they have skin in the game now. And the sibling who borrowed feels watched, judged, like they traded their privacy for a loan they can never fully repay without also repaying the emotional debt that came with it. And that debt never appears in any bank statement. The third thing that happens, and this one is the one that really ends relationships, is that money reveals who people actually are. Before the money, you had an idea of your family member, a version of them built from years of shared memories. You knew their good side, their funny side, their loving side. But financial stress, financial pressure, financial desperation, these strip all of that away. And you see something underneath that you were never supposed to see. You see how they respond when they feel cornered, how they justify not paying back, how they minimize what they owe, how they rewrite the story to make themselves the victim and you the villain. And that is the part that truly breaks people, not losing the money. Losing the image they had of someone they loved. Because you can recover from losing money. But you cannot unsee who a person becomes when money is on the table. Now, there's another dimension to this that almost no one talks about. And it's the pressure that comes from the family system itself. Let's say you're the most financially successful person in your family. You got the better job, made smarter choices, built a stable life. Congratulations, genuinely, but in many families, that success comes with an invisible tax. Suddenly, you're the one everyone calls when something goes wrong. You're the safety net, the backup plan, the person who can afford it. And because it's family, every request comes wrapped in love and need and urgency. It's hard to say no. It feels cruel to say no. But if you always say yes, you end up funding other people's choices while quietly sacrificing your own financial future. And the expectations only grow. What started as a one-time emergency becomes a recurring arrangement that nobody ever officially agreed to. And when you finally say no, when you finally draw a line, you become the selfish one. The one who changed. The one who forgot where they came from. That is the trap. So, what do you actually do with all of this? Because the answer is not never help your family. That's too simple. Too cold. Family matters. Relationships matter. And sometimes people genuinely need help. The real answer is this: be intentional, be honest, and be clear before any money changes hands. If you decide to help a family member financially, treat it like a gift in your mind, not a loan. The moment you lend money to someone you love, mentally release it. If it comes back, wonderful. If it doesn't, you haven't lost a relationship trying to collect a debt. Never lend more than you can afford to lose. This is not pessimism. This is financial self-preservation. If you go into business with a family member, treat it exactly like a business. Written agreements, clear roles, defined responsibilities. What happens if it fails? What happens if one person wants out? Have that conversation before you need it, not during a crisis. And learn to say no with love, a simple, honest sentence. I love you and I'm not in a position to help financially right now, no long explanation needed. No guilt required, because protecting your financial boundaries is not a betrayal of your family. It is a protection of every relationship inside it. Here is the hard truth that wraps all of this together. Money does not destroy families. What destroys families is the things that were already there. The unspoken dynamics, the old wounds. The imbalanced power structures, the unmet expectations. The people who never learned to talk about hard things directly. Money just forces those things into the open. It gives them a deadline, a number, a moment of truth. And when they finally surface, people blame the money, when really the money just held up a mirror. So, the next time someone in your family asks to borrow money, before you say yes or no, ask yourself this one question: can this relationship survive what I'm about to do? If the answer is yes, proceed carefully, clearly, and with full eyes open. If the answer is no, or even maybe, you already have your answer. Protect your money, protect your peace, protect your people. Because the best thing you can ever do for your family is stay financially stable, emotionally clear, and honest enough to say the things that love sometimes makes us afraid to say. That is the truth nobody tells you. Now you know it.